Welcome to this YouTube channel on how to buy a business no cash down. I'm Carl Allen and I've been buying businesses now for almost 25 years, more than 250 deals in 17 different countries. So this playlist is all about deal making basics, the fundamental rules of what we do to take over someone else's established business without spending our own money. Here's the next video in the sequence. There are 6 in total.
Part 3 is about the nitty-gritty. How does this work? And I'm going to answer it in 3 sections. The first is what the process is and the rules to follow. The second is how you can get free expert help if you want it. And finally, how can you make money out of a deal immediately? So this is the 10-step process. We're going to cover all the steps in the next 30 minutes or so, especially step 5, where you raise the funds to pay yourself when you take ownership at step 10. That's the coolest part. Now don't worry if you don't get all of this. I'm distilling 23 years and 258 deals worth of stuff into 30 minutes. There will be a replay of this webinar so you can watch it again, and I'll talk about my more detailed training program later. Step 1 is all about creating your dream deal specification. So it's all about you and your personal brand and applying a set of criteria to every opportunity presented to you. Let's look at the criteria. The first is work-life balance. Now you need to decide, what do you want to be in your new business? Do you want to work full-time as the general manager owner, or do you want to be more like a chairman and just do the strategic work, leaving the detail and the day-to-day operations to others? And that's what I do. Now this is a case study from one of my clients, Matt, who lives in Florida. Matt was trapped inside of a massive IT organization and wanted his own business. He'd neglected his family in the years prior, so he only needed or wanted to work 4 days per week and just do the selling and the strategy. Thus Matt needed a good deputy inside that business to run it for him day to day, and Matt only wanted to commute 30 miles to work. Now you can use location targeting if you want to emigrate, like my friend JB did. We talked about him earlier. If you also want to live in Brisbane, that becomes your target location and the other metrics stay the same. Next, you need to decide what role you want to play. So if you're a killer at sales, finance, strategy, HR, etc., you'll want to use those skills. But if not, you'll need to ensure the business has those skills already in it. Or, when I show you how to raise funding in step 5, you can use some of this cash to bring new skills into the business and fix any weaknesses in the team. In Matt's case, he needed a good operations manager and good financial skills and people good with hands-on detail. He wanted to be just a sales and strategy person. Next, you will want to leverage your market knowledge. If you are from, say, the engineering space, it makes sense to target that sector. However, if you want a business in a completely new sector, you just need to research that sector in detail or partner with someone or use a consultant to advise you. I'll show you later why you don't have to personally pay for that kind of help. Or team up with a colleague who is strong in areas where you are not, and vice versa, and go acquire the business together, a dream team, and you split the ownership 50-50. So what you need to do is list a number of sectors and list both your expertise and your passion in each case. Ideally, you want a high passion, high expertise combination, and this will make you a killer business owner. Matt was really passionate about small business IT, and he was also an expert in that sector, so he was in a great spot. So here's Matt's tracker. Here you list all the things that you want in your business and what you don't want. What are you prepared to accept, and what do you know that you can fix as the new owner, especially if you hire new people from the funds raised in step 5. So you're going to love this next bit. Once you've got a picture of your perfect business and you've built your own tracker, you then need to build your wealth creation plan. Now this is going to help you focus in on the size of business to acquire. Matt's goal was to be in the 0.2%, remember we talked about that before, comfortably within 3 years. So his goal was to make a total of $5 million from that first business. Let's go into Matt's wealth creation plan in detail. So Matt wanted $250,000 on completion of the deal because he wanted to renovate his house, and then he wanted $250,000 a year per year over a 3-year ownership period. That left $4 million as a selling payment upon exit. Let's see how this works. Now using that conservative 5 times multiple of profit as a selling valuation that we talked about before, he wanted to generate a $4 million payment on exit. Now Matt's new business then needed to have $800,000 as a profit in 3 years, and that's the 4 million divided by the 5. And the profit margins in the IT sector were averaging around 15% of sales. So that told Matt his business needed $5.3 million in sales within 3 years. So $800,000 of 5.3 million is 15%. Matt was also very confident he could grow his new business at least 33% during ownership. So working that back, that meant his new business today needed to have $4 million in sales, and that was his target. So those are the two things that you need to do to create your dream deal specification. You need to create a tracker, which is a list for your ideal business, and then you need to work out how big it needs to be by doing your wealth creation plan to make sure that you comfortably get into the 0.2%. Next is origination and approaches. Now this is one of my favourite parts. Now there are more than 10 methods I use to originate opportunities, but I've only got time today to quickly show you my top 5. I've got detailed training on all my methods, which I'll go into later. Now the golden rule here is you never ever discuss price at your first touch point with one of those 3 target sellers. We leave that until step 6, and there's a good reason why. Now the first origination method is social media. Now I wasn't using this at all 10 years ago, let alone in 1992 when I started my deal making career. Now I use social media all the time to build fan pages, do simple networking, conduct surveys around locations, market sectors, and also those painful seller themes that I went into earlier. Now more than 1 billion people use social media in business all around the world. This one small business fan page, which is called Small Business Saturday, has got nearly 21,000 members, and there are hundreds and hundreds of sites like this. Join them and ask direct questions like, are you trapped in your business and need to come out of it? It's amazing when I join these sites and I ask those questions how many people respond with yes, please help, and then they become opportunities. I also use tools like SurveyMonkey to survey thousands and thousands of owner managers, investors, and people connected to large businesses, and then I follow up with them to create additional opportunities. I also massively leverage my LinkedIn network, but we'll go into that shortly around how you can use your own professional networks. Another method of origination I use is trade events. I go to at least one per month. Industry, press conferences, analyst events, trade shows, and what I do is I call ahead and I have the organisers send me the attendee lists, and I then pick out the businesses of interest to me and quickly research them. I want to show you a really neat way of looking highly credible and building massive rapport with people you meet at these events. What I do is I take cards with me, and on those cards I have a list of 5 things about each target business on the front and 5 things about the attendee owner on the back. I get the business info from the internet and the personal info from LinkedIn. Practically everybody is on LinkedIn now, and when I meet these business owners at the event and I learn some of the things on the cards, I dazzle them with what I know about both them and their businesses. It's a fantastic way to pick up good opportunities, and on average 1 in 3 will meet me again to discuss a sale. Now my old favourite is the direct approach, and I was starting doing this back in 1992. What I do is I write carefully targeted letters to businesses I like in a particular area, and I just write to the owner privately and confidentially. Now this is important. Being very discreet builds that instant and massive credibility and trust. What I tell them in the letter is why I like the business, how I would be the safe pair of hands, and what I know about them personally from the information I've picked up on LinkedIn or press releases that are often put on the internet. Using the same methods I explain for trade shows, I then call them up and ask them to meet. My hit rate in this method is better than 1 in 3. Now using the same approach, research all the big businesses in your sector and target location and determine which ones are changing leadership, changing strategy, and already shedding businesses. Then write to them with the same tactics as owner managers. Again, all the information you need is on the internet. As an example, look at npower. This is a UK utilities business, and it started shedding subsidiaries back in late 2013. Yes, they do sell the bigger ones for real cash, £218 million in this case, but there were still 100 smaller subsidiary businesses left. Some of these will be free, you just need to reach out to them. And it's the same with time-starved investors. Go to your national investor associations, get a list of all investors in your area, and then Google them. You'll find out about recent sales, new fundraising, and the individual investor websites will list all of their current investments. The ones that are older than 4 or 5 years since the investments were made are all prime candidates for write-offs, and these should go into your opportunity funnel. Now every country has a national investor association. The popular ones are up here, but there are many more. Even industry sectors have them too. We touched earlier on third-party networks. This is the most powerful way of finding opportunities and also the easiest. You can fill your funnel just by this method alone. Call everybody you know in business or use your LinkedIn network. Bankers, lawyers, accountants, consultants, they're all close to small businesses and all will know which could be available for sale for all the reasons we talked about before. Also, call everyone that you currently work with, your customers, your suppliers, everyone who knows you, even friends and family. Even give them your deal tracker and ask for referrals. Again, do not mention at this stage you are looking for a cash-free deal. That's what step 6 is all about. And finally, I also use business brokers. Now, I'm not a big fan of them generally, as some are sadly dishonest and get big upfront fees from sellers. That's $25,000, yet only 6% of advertised businesses sell in the first 12 months, as they are typically not marketed properly. What you need to do is call all the brokers in your area and ask for lists of businesses that have been on their books for more than 12 months. Now, all of these businesses are opportunities, since the owners will be tired and frustrated and they'll be doubting that they will ever be set free. I've found thousands of opportunities using this method. Now again, I've got tons and tons of templates and methods and much more detailed training on how to do all this stuff, but I just don't have the time today to go into it, or we'll be here for 10 hours. I'll talk about that a little bit later.
So that's it for this particular video. The next video in this playlist will follow, and please check out all the other playlists and videos for everything you need to know to learn how to buy a business no cash down. In fact, I've crammed everything that you need to know into a special 90-minute webinar titled 3 Insider Secrets to Buy a Profitable Business Inside of 99 Days Without Cash or Knowing How to Run a Business. And here are the 3 big secrets, the 3 killer training topics. Think of these as hurdles to you becoming a business owner. First, I'll show you exactly what the 10 steps are to buy a business, and you must follow these in order. It's really critical. Second, I'll show you lots of case studies of deals structured using OPM, other people's money, and it's no more difficult than high school math. And finally, I'll show you how you can get others to operate the businesses for you, so you can do other things like spend time with your family or buy other businesses whilst enjoying the cash flow that your new business is generating for you. So to register for this groundbreaking training, just click on the link underneath this video on YouTube or type in this link into your browser. It's bit.ly/buy-my-business. And I'll see you on air sometime in the next week. Until then, bye for now.